My name is Rick Frobrode. I'm an educator in California, United States of America. I just recently retired as a primary school teacher. I taught for 32 years, mostly in grade 5. And I also work at a local university, San Diego State University, where I teach people who are becoming teachers. And I've been working there for about 10 years. So a lot of experience with education and working with teachers. And it's a privilege for me to be able to speak with you all. And I'm looking forward to your questions and for our time that we have together.
Good evening, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Praveen Kumar. I am a ninth grader from GPHS Penamaka. May I ask you one question, sir, with your permission?
Yes, sir.
What role do communities in India and the USA play in managing plastic waste?
Plastic waste is a large problem in the United States. There are a lot of things that are involved in plastic waste, and it's important for us to realize that plastics are in every part of our life, whether we have them in containers for food, plastic bags, plastics in all different types of aspects of our lives. Plastic has become so important. I was reading up to try and figure out when plastic came about, and it was about the 1950s when plastic really became a part of our world. And now we use plastics for almost everything. And unfortunately, in both your country and my country and most countries around the world, plastics have become a major source of pollution, whether it's people throwing it down, whether it's not taken to garbage dumps. Plastic is just a major global problem now. So for both of our countries, as well as the rest of the world.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Nashri. I'm ninth grade from GPHS Penamaka High School. Can I ask a question, sir?
Yes, you may.
How are schools in India and the USA education students about plastic and pollution sustainability?
That's a great question. In the United States, we have our education system is a little different than some countries in that we have some national standards, but every state comes up and every district within each state has its own curriculum. But as part of our national standards, especially in our science programs, they talk about the importance of human interaction with the earth. And that deals a lot with issues of pollution, whether we take care of resources or not. And so it's all throughout from primary all the way up through high school education, the awareness of our resources and of how we treat our world is taught within all of our science classes. When I taught elementary school, and I know a lot of other elementary teachers, they incorporated it also into the social sciences, as well as other activities. And of course, in middle school and high school, it's primarily taught in the science classes, so that the students can have an understanding of how bad plastic pollution is and how we as students and teachers can have an impact on the world. So I don't know what it's like in India where it's taught, but I know it's supposed to be in all the curriculums across the country here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is Harika.
Good morning.
I am a ninth grader from GPHS Penamaka. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What best practice from the USA can India adopt, and what can the USA learn from India is tackling plastic pollution?
That's a great question. I think some of our practices in the United States, it's interesting. We don't have any laws federally that talk about plastic pollution. Most of the laws are left up to each of the individual states. And here in California, we've been trying to enact strict laws to help guard against the plastic pollution or to prevent the plastic pollution. Um, and I think the efforts that we are making is something that all countries should do. We here in the state of California, about 12 years ago, they passed a law restricting plastic bags to one-use bags, but they found that didn't work because they made thicker bags that could be used over and over. But people weren't using them. They were still throwing them away. And so just this past year, in fact, on January 1st, a new law went into practice, which is banning plastic bags of all kinds. So at grocery stores and markets, they will not be able to use plastic bags. They have to use paper bags. So I think that's one practice that, and I know in India, plastic bags are used a lot. That's one practice that I think could be taken from that we do that could be used in India. Um, as far as what India is doing, I'm not sure. I know schools there are learning about it, and I think the education component could be used more, or could be better here in the United States as far as teaching students about plastic pollutions and how we can solve all the issues of plastic.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Salma. I am a ninth grader from GPHS Penmaka. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, of course.
How does the problem of plastic pollution differ between India and the USA?
I think the plastic problem is probably pretty much the same in both countries, as well as around the world. Um, People throw away things, people litter, they drop their trash everywhere. They aren't careful when they put things in the garbage. And so I think the overuse of plastic bags is common in both of our countries as well. And I think through education and through elimination of plastic bags, I think that's something that both countries have to deal with. And it's not just not this just the United States and India. Mike, where I live, we border the Mexico, the country of Mexico. We have a lot of problems together because we share a border and we have the pollution on both sides of the border. And so plastic bags seem to be a problem everywhere. And it's not just plastic bags, but that's probably the most visible problem there. So I think we share almost the same problems with plastic bags and plastic pollution um, between our two countries as well as globally, because I see and read about other countries that are struggling with the exact same problems that we've been discussing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
My name is Mahesh Babu. I am a ninth grader. I am from VHPHS Penmaka. Sir, I ask a question with your permission, sir.
Yes.
What policies or laws in India and the USA have been effective in reducing single-use plastics?
Yeah, I spoke a little bit about that. We just had a law pass here in California when they realized the previous law from about 12 to 14 years ago, that law wasn't working. We were still having the plastic bag salute problems, even though they weren't considered single-use bags. The bags were made thicker so they would last longer. Unfortunately, people weren't using them more than once. They were still throwing them away. So the plastic bag problem got even worse because it was thicker plastic. That law just went into effect. And then the new law says that the stores have to make paper bags available instead of plastic bags. That's the main law that I know of. Across the United States, each state is different. And in California, we're very the environment is very important here in California. in many other states, it's not as important. And so they haven't made as many laws in other states where you can get plastic bags without an issue. And so within my own country, there are different laws in that there's 50 different states. And so there's probably 50 different laws requiring that. I'm curious, are there laws? I don't know if you know, are there laws in India about single-use plastic bags?
In fact, there are a few laws, but they are not being implemented strictly to reduce the single use of plastic. That's why
Mhm,
the use of plastic is still unabated and making the environment so unclean and plastic everywhere in
mhm,
drainages and everywhere. So that is the major cause of concern as far as Indian environment is concerned.
mhm. Okay, so yeah, and I think with India, because it is so large as well, you have different pradeshes have different laws, and so yeah, it's very hard to implement, and it's hard to enforce the plastic bag laws. At grocery stores, they would have the single-use plastic bags, but at certain other stores, you could get plastic bags without having to pay because you were required to pay 10 cents per bag as a way to discourage people from taking bags. But some stores you can go to, they didn't charge you. They would just give you plastic bags automatically. So much like your teacher said, um, the laws aren't always enforced. And it's hard to enforce some of these laws. You don't have enough people to go around and check each store to see if they're actually following what the law says.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So you have been witnessing the issue of plastic, of course, when you visited India. It still is a major cause of concern. So, what would you say to end this menace in India? Because the problem is not just in one region in India. It's almost everywhere in India. You can see the plastic piling up every street corners and roads and everywhere, and the apathy is in drainages. Most of the field that is stagnated in the drainages is plastic
Yes.
is the main culprit here in India. So what would you suggest to the government to implement strict laws, or I mean some stringent measures to curb the plastic menace as a citizen of USA?
Yeah, I think the laws I think are always important, but like I was saying here in the United States, when I go visit family in another part of the country, they have plastic bags everywhere. Our waste collection system is really good, so a lot of it, is collected and it's not, out on the streets and blowing free, but it's still in landfill. And because plastic is petroleum based, that's impacting the environment, even in the landfills. And so I think the best way to do that is to eliminate plastic bags. I think getting rid of that's going to save the environment in a couple ways because you need the petroleum to make the plastic bags, and that's causing pollution, just the production of the petroleum, and then making of the plastic bags and then the discarding of the plastic bags appropriately. It's not done as readily as it should be. And so I think the complete elimination of plastic bags would probably be the single biggest impact on the environment in India.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick, for your time. And
Thank you.
before we wind up this session, may I request you to give a message to my students regarding the plastic, the single use of plastic, because
Yeah.
these are the kids, they're the future citizens of India. So it is their turn to keep their surroundings clean, plastic free. I request you to give a message on that line.
Yeah, I would encourage every one of you to do what you can in your community. Um, in your house, it has to start at home. At home, Make sure your parents are aware of the use of plastic bags. Make sure that if things are being thrown out on the streets or just tossed aside, that you pick them up. I remember a long, long time ago, something that had an impact on my life and littering and pollution. I participated in an activity through my high school where we went around our county, in the area around our high school, and we cleaned up trash. And that had such an impact on me that that's always been something that I've thought about when I became a teacher, that recycling, cleaning up trash is always very important. So start at home with your families, cleaning up, taking fewer plastic bags, finding reusable bags. Start in your school, making sure if you see students throwing paper or plastic, and not just students, teachers, if you see them not being careful with trash, it remind them to take care of things. Perhaps you can organize something in your community there where the students meet on a Saturday. That's when we did a cleanup. You meet on a Saturday and you go through and you clean a section of town. Um, Nothing speaks louder or stronger to parents and community members than to see students your age out making a difference in your community. And I think if you give of your time and you do some cleanup, that'll get more people involved. And I think that's a way that your school can have an impact on your community and get that to spread as you have family and friends in other parts of India, have them do the same at their school. And I think if you can start with that, because it's going to come from you. The adults are the ones that have messed it up and allowed all the plastic trash. And unfortunately, the burden to clean it up is going to end up with you all. So if you all can start with some type of cleanup campaign in your community, I think that would be a very powerful thing that you can do for your community and for all of India.